Are you a fan of competition? Do you enjoy sports that are fast-paced, physical, and incredibly entertaining to watch? How would you like to learn a game that dates back to the ancient Greeks and Romans and is one of the most widely played international sports around the world? Our guest today will talk about his experiences learning the game of rugby and his time spent playing the game at the collegiate level while he studied at Hofstra University. The Humanities Mass Communications Department at Norwalk Community College presents The New Directors, the show that introduces you to television's future writers, directors, and personalities. And now, join our host, Ty Doris, to meet the new director.
Thank you for joining us for today's edition of The New Directors. All the people involved with this program are students in the television production course and are directing, switching, controlling audio, operating cameras, and acting as talent for the first time today. The guests you will meet on this show are students who, when not on camera, are behind the scenes, working hard to bring this program to you with as few mistakes as possible. Each student has written and directed 4 different productions. This program will give them the chance to talk about themselves and the productions they've created and give you the chance to get to know them and enjoy some of the work they've done and watch their progress throughout the semester. Our guest today is a former college athlete who played rugby at Hofstra University, and he hopes to educate us about this sport. We would like you to meet our guest today, James Thompson.
How's it going, man?
Pretty good. How about you?
It's going pretty well.
Good. So we know that you played in college rugby while you were enrolled at Hofstra University. Please tell us more about your experience on the team and the game of rugby as a whole.
So rugby's always been a pretty big part of my life. I'm a first-generation American, and both my parents are from the UK, so instead of watching football and baseball growing up, I was always watching cricket and rugby, and both my father and my grandfather played at like a semi-professional level. Like professional sports and professional sports here and there are different, but it's always been a part of my life, and I actually brought some game footage for you guys to watch because a lot of the American audience is kind of uneducated to the game. So unlike football where there's 11 players, this game has 15, and some of the biggest changes between football and rugby. In football, when there's a tackle made, the ref will take the ball and reset it, and all the players will kind of, take a second and have a rest. And
it's very slow.
Yeah, to the European eyes, it's very slow. To here, it's normal. Whereas in rugby, unless you score the ball or the ball goes out of bounds, play keeps going. So you always have to have your head on a swivel. You always have to know what's going on. But when I grew up in high school playing football. I never played rugby at any youth level because it's not really available to a lot of the youth in America.
Yeah.
But when I got to college, there was no football team there, and I had been planning on trying out. So I kind of had nothing to do with my time, and I met a member of the team that noticed my size and knew that I kind of like to be a little bit aggressive, and thought this game might be perfect for me. So he asked me to come to a tryout, and I absolutely love the game. Also different from American football, you can only pass backwards. So for a lot of people that have never seen this before, this looks like completely overwhelming.
I don't even know what's going on there.
Yeah, exactly. But it's hard. Once you learn the rules of the game and you watch a little bit of it, it really becomes like second nature. And it's really fun to play. The team camaraderie, the atmosphere is something I've never had before in a team sport, even in football. I really think the physicality of the game brings people together in a way that a lot of other sports can't. And we weren't even very good. I think we only won like 3 or 4 games throughout my entire time on the team. So the camaraderie really, spoke true, even though we weren't winning all the time.
Yeah. It's always been a sport that I've been interested in, but never really got the chance to play because, like you said, it's not really around here very often.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever had a really bad injury?
I wouldn't say it was too bad. The worst injury I ever sustained, I had my nose broken. I did have to have surgery on it. One of my teammates collided into me, but it wasn't the end of the world. I survived. I'm still pretty.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So let's talk a little bit about the TV production. Is there anything specific that made you decide to take TV1 courses here at NCC?
Specifically, I was really interested in the editing aspect of learning things. I've always really been into TV and movies. I mean, who isn't in, kids that are born in this generation. However, I've also been a fan of photography as a hobby. I like to take my own shots, and my camera also has the ability to film, but I've always shied away from doing it just because I know that, it's intimidating because if I have all these cool clips, I know I'm not going to be able to do anything with them. They're just going to, collect on my hard drive. I've never been able to put things together and put it up on YouTube or anything like that. So a big part of why I wanted to take this course was to learn a lot of techniques and editing, things that would help me be able to do stuff like that.
That's cool. What are some things that you've learned after taking this course?
Specifically, to piggyback on my last answer, would be the Avid editing. And Avid as a program, I had no idea that it existed until this course, and I'm still having somewhat difficulty trying to learn all the shortcuts and things like that. But more so the grand idea of editing and where to frame people in shots and when to cut and add this, and the music editing and sound effects. That was something I never had access to before, so this course really opened up my eyes to it, and it's something that I'm definitely going to take forward and use with me later in the future.
That's great.
Yeah.
Throughout the semester, students were challenged to create 4 projects: Student Studies, A Cup of Tea, the Nature Project, and the Orange Project. Can you tell us about your experience working on these 4 projects?
Yeah, I can also actually show you 30 seconds of each project.
Yeah?
I brought that with me. So the first project that we worked on was the Student Studies project, and that was a lot of fun. It was basically, we weren't given a ton of freedom as to the shots and shot directions and things like that. We were basically given a list of what to do and go out and accomplish those tasks. But at the same time, it was a lot of fun. I got to work with my older brother here as an actor who's never gotten an opportunity to do something like this. So I think he was really geeked up to have an opportunity to work with me. And it was cool. It was cool just to get out there and really learn the basics of the camera.
Yeah.
The second project here is the Cup of Tea, which I use my beautiful mother to help me act with. In my household, this is something that gets done every day. Like I said, I'm first-generation American from England, so a cup of tea is basically like a cup of water to us. So my mom had no qualms helping me do this, but it was a lot of fun. I was still learning a lot of different techniques here. There's a couple continuity errors, but overall I had a lot of fun doing this. We got to put music into the project, which we hadn't done before. It was a lot of fun working on that. This is the Nature Project. It was the first project that allows us to be a little bit more creative in our approach. There were certain aspects and certain shots that we needed to have, but in terms of where we wanted to go and what we wanted to film, that was largely left up to us. And so I had a lot of fun. It was the only film that we used that we didn't need actors. So I kind of got to, get outside my head a little bit, go outside, and really just find some cool shots in nature, mostly from New Canaan and South Norwalk.
What's this one?
This is part of my Orange project. Again, my awesome brother is helping me act. And
Recurring role, I see.
Oh yeah, I got to pay him the big bucks, right? But this was a project I really enjoyed because it gave us the first opportunity to really kind of use all the tools in our toolbox. We got to come up with a concept. We got to write this script. We got to use actors if we so wanted to. We got to really be creative, and I think that whole process together was kind of like encompassing everything that we learned in this course, and so I had a lot of fun doing that.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
So James, out of the 4 projects that we just saw, is there one that you consider your best project?
I don't know if it's the best project in terms of cinematography or things like that, but I definitely had the most fun working on the Cup of Tea. As we'll show you here, my mom and I worked together for the whole project, and we never really had an opportunity to do something like this together. She's never really been involved in any of my schoolwork, and she was really excited. She also used to work as a actress on the small stage, and she's done some voiceover work, so it was kind of like reprising an old role for her. She had a blast. I could probably fill like a 5 to 6 minute B-roll of just all the clips where we couldn't use because she was laughing or goofing around. My mom's a really naturally funny person.
Like a blooper reel.
Yeah, I probably will just for her sake. But the entire experience of filming this project was really a lot of fun. Like I said, it's not the best. There's a continuity error here or there, but this is something that I'm definitely going to remember when I'm thinking back on this class later.
So the average viewer, you never even notice those things.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Only we notice them now because
exactly,
we've been in this
right.
class.
Exactly. We've been trained the right way. Thanks, Professor Gould.
Yeah. What are the most important skills that you've learned in this course, and how will you put them to use in the future?
Ironically, the most important skills don't really have much to do with the technical side of TV and film. Most importantly, I think it's time management. when we first got to this course, Professor Gould was telling us how important this skill would be, and I think some of us kind of brushed it off, just thinking it was like any other teacher telling us, take my class really seriously. But you start to realize soon that if you don't do your shot decision, your edit decision list, if you don't have your shot sheet, if you don't plan everything out ahead of time, you're going to be completely screwed when it actually comes down to make the film. And so managing all of the time and all of the different aspects that go into these projects are something that really left an impression on me, and also sharing the equipment with other students, sharing the space with other students. It's something that you all have to kind of budget and plan and prepare for, and I think that's something that you can take and apply to other TV2 courses later down the road, or a job interview or anything. I think it's really like a life skill. So
it can definitely be put into real life situations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's great to hear. So today we got to meet someone who educated us about the game of rugby. As a new TV director, he hopes to apply what he has learned here at NCC to edit other rugby highlight tapes. He also plans to use the new knowledge from TV1 to edit old footage he has filmed throughout his lifetime. We would like to thank James Thompson for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Ty. I had a really good time.
Me too. We hope you enjoy meeting one of television's future directors, and we hope you will continue to join us each week to watch our progress. Thank you, and have a great day. I didn't know we were going for the explosion.
This has been the New Director with your host, Ty Doris, directed by Danilo Vargas. I'm your announcer, Eric Stoltenhoff. The New Directors is Norwalk Community College student production.